The story of the Philippine Constitution is, in many ways, the story of a nation finding its identity, shaped by revolutions, occupations, transitions, and the people's pursuit of freedom. As the Philippines moved through the tides of history, each constitution became a reflection of the country's political aspirations and struggles for sovereignty. This journey begins in 1897 with the Biak-na-Bato Constitution. On November 1 of that year, Filipino revolutionaries drafted a charter that proposed the creation of a Supreme Council, an attempt to establish the highest governing institution of the young revolutionary republic. It recognized essential human rights such as religious freedom, freedom of the press, and the right to education. Though it was never fully implemented due to the Pact of Biak-na-Bato between Spanish forces and the Philippine Revolution Army, it marked the earliest attempt of Filipinos to define their own governance. Just 2 years later, the revolution advanced to a new stage with the 1899 Malolos Constitution, the first constitution of the First Philippine Republic. On January 21, 1899, Emilio Aguinaldo formally established the Malolos Constitution, which is remembered today as a pioneering document in Asia. It outlined safeguards against abuses and laid down national and individual rights, not only for Filipinos but for foreigners as well. This moment symbolized the Philippines' first concrete exercise in constitutional democracy. The story continues in 1935, as the Philippines prepared for eventual independence under American rule. The 1935 Constitution became the foundation of the Commonwealth government. It served as a provisional charter before full sovereignty was granted and adopted American-inspired structures that would help the Philippines prototype a future independent government. This constitution shaped the transition toward self-rule. By 1943, during the Japanese occupation, another constitution emerged. This 1943 constitution still referenced the framework of 1935, but functioned under the Japanese-sponsored government. It attempted to operate as the governing charter in a time of war, though its authority was limited by the realities of foreign control. After the war, and after the Philippines regained independence, an interesting transitional charter was also recognized, the Provisional Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, also known as the Freedom Constitution. This document emphasized peace, equality, justice, freedom, cooperation, and amity with all nations. It reflected the country's desire to rebuild democratic institutions and restore governance founded on globally recognized legal principles. Then came a turning point in 1973, when a new constitution was drafted during a period of political change. The 1973 Constitution affirmed that the Philippines was a democratic country opposing war as a tool of national policy. It emphasized internationally recognized principles of peace, equality, justice, freedom, collaboration, and cooperation with all nations. It functioned during a time of shifting political structures and debates on governance. A major transformation took place in 1987 after the People Power Revolution. The 1987 Constitution declared the rejection of war as a tool of national policy and promoted peace, equality, justice, and cooperation. It established a representative democracy with 3 independent branches: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. This charter restored democratic institutions and remains the country's governing constitution today. Finally, the infographic highlights the effectivity of the 1987 Constitution. The 1973 Constitution was officially replaced when the 1986 Freedom Constitution ended. The 1987 Constitution, signed by President Corazon C. Aquino under Proclamation No. 58, became fully operational on February 11, 1987. The plebiscite held on February 2 of that year affirmed the people's approval and incorporated the results into President Aquino's proclamation, marking the reaffirmation of Philippine democracy. Throughout history, each constitution served as a milestone, capturing the evolving hopes of the Filipino people, from revolution to occupation to independence, and finally to the restoration of democracy. This evolution reminds us that the Constitution is more than a legal document. It is the heartbeat of a nation, continually striving toward justice, liberty, and unity.